Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hair the Dogcast. We are still at GDQ. My sleep schedule is over. I am tired. I am hungover, and we're drinking more. We're joined today by a man known for playing Animorphs.
Of course.
And many other games. He's been a facet of GDQ since 2015. And while the speedrunning gods might not always be generous with him, his runs are always the most funny and entertaining. Specializing in Pokemon runs and Animorphs, recently he's become a co-host of GDQ, the one and only Keizaron.
Man, that sounds like something you'd put on my epitaph. Like, it sounds so, like, fluid and, like, yeah, this is literally everything he's done for the most part.
Yeah.
Animorphs.
This guy played Animorphs.
Twice.
Yeah. Twice. Two different Animorphs games.
I didn't learn my lesson.
Yeah, those games weren't meant to be played, I don't think.
No, they really weren't. Like, they weren't meant to be seen by anybody. I think they were all just, like, jokes that were made that were accidentally published.
Did you read the books?
No.
You didn't read the books?
No, okay, so what I did with the books, right, was I would take the books, like, from my school library, and I would just do the whole, like, flip the corner of the page to morph it.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, all right, that's cool. Oh, that one turns into a hawk. That one still looks like an alien. All right, whatever. I don't know anything about this shit.
Yeah, well, I read all 54. And
there's 54 of them?
There's 54 main books. There's like 5 Megamorphs, some Alternamorphs. I was an avid reader in 3rd grade.
This sounds like Digimon now.
Dude, the Animorphs scene was very hot in St. Lawrence Catholic School. And I had the Game Boy game too. I got it as a serious purchase, and I was excited for it. And I don't think I ever beat the first level, like the first mission.
So, funny story about that. We did see like a YouTube kind of walkthrough about it when we started picking up the game. But back in like, I want to say it was AGDQ 2015. It was right before I started attending the events. We had Shenanigans _ go to a local game store called Starland. And he was literally on a mission to either find the shittiest game he could find or just a game from childhood that he could never beat. He found both of them when he found Animorphs. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to buy this game and play with it a little bit. And I saw him stream it a couple of times. It just looked like the most awful thing in the universe. So I was like, hey, I'm going to SGDQ 2015. So bring it with you and we can try and take it down together. And other than that one YouTube walkthrough, which didn't even finish the game, I think we were the first ones to ever beat the damn thing. And it was super funny. Like, this is one of my favorite GDQ memories because we had a bunch of people in the casual room, and we had more people in there than we did in the live crowd of the current GDQ run. And we just popped off like the sweatiest, saddest nerds when we beat the game. Like, everyone was turning around, high-fiving, fist bumping. It was just the silliest looking image ever.
Was that the first game that you ran at GDQ?
By myself, yeah.
Yeah.
So my first run was that SGDQ, and it wasn't actually planned. I actually didn't submit. I was supposed to help Shen commentate with his Gen 1 catch-em-all run, and then he had a bonus incentive for doing a glitch category blindfolded. But he actually talked to the staff and was like, hey, Keizaron's capable of doing this glitch category too. Can we have him do it, or can we turn it into a race so we can, like, for sure have someone finish?
Yeah.
Like, we like the race idea. So I was very much added last minute. Like, I wasn't even supposed to go to the event to begin with.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, I'm doing this cool blindfold run. And I got my ass kicked. But, you know, that was my first taste of doing a GDQ run. And then the next GDQ I did Animorphs, which somehow that got me a following.
Yeah, that was a huge breakthrough.
Yeah.
That definitely affected your stream numbers, right?
Yeah, so I got over 1,000 new followers for Animorphs. And like my first stream after I came back from GDQ was 715 people watching me play Animorphs. And I'm like, this game has never seen more than like 12 people at a time.
It's like that one-hit wonder that like a band gets that they don't know why it was the big thing.
Yeah.
Now you're the Animorphs guy, kind of.
Yeah. Like I
wish there was more Animorphs games for you to delve into, but I think there's only 2, right?
There's 3 actually.
Uh-oh.
So there's the Game Boy one, which is the notorious one. There's the one that I did a couple of years later on PlayStation, which that was the really bad Crash clone.
I was gonna say it's a Crash clone, yeah.
Yeah, and God, even during that run, like during AGDQ, I still found new problems with it. Like I phased through one of the platforms or something and had to kill myself. But no, there's a PC version called Animorphs Know the Secret.
Uh-oh.
And
I don't want to know.
Man, somebody beat it. Like I saw somebody like actually speedrun it. They were inspired by me, poor bastard. But Yeah, they beat it in like less than 2 hours. I'm like, it's that long? Like, I can hardly tolerate Animorphs for 30 minutes, and like most of the runs are 45, so I'm not gonna do Animorphs for 2 hours.
No, you have to.
Game.
It's the trifecta. It's
No,
he did Punch Out Wii. He did the third blindfold one. You got to do the third Animorphs one.
That's not fair. I don't think GDQ would ever allow such a terrible game. So here's another thing about that game. I did play it for a little bit. One, you have to do a bunch of work around because it's a very old DOS game.
Okay.
So like you have to like set up like DOS emulator and all this stuff, and then run it in administrator mode and like all this extra shit. And then you have to just go through so much crap to load the game, let alone play the game.
So much to get tortured.
You're torturing yourself to get tortured, and then you get to the game and you kind of like do some platforming here and there, whatever. There's some mini games, the usual Animorph stuff. But then when you get to the combat, apparently the devs forgot to turn off the like instant kill mode.
Yeah.
So you just press 0 and you just automatically do like 1 billion damage. So there isn't even anything.
That wouldn't be an entertaining run.
No.
Well, let's talk about your run that you did here the other day. You raised over $100,000 during your run.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah. Pokemon Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was another run that had some issues here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is fine.
That's pretty much...
It's not about the time here at Games Done Quick. It's about the entertainment value.
Yeah, and then like just in general, like if you're a marathon organizer and you see, not to like fluff my ego here or anything, but like if you see, hey, Keizaron submitted this, you're not accepting the run because it's like, oh, Keizaron's going to give a good quality technical showing. You're showing it because Keizaron always brings in numbers.
Yeah.
Everyone always laughs. Mm-hmm. Every time he's in a marathon, he's always considered like a top 5 run of the marathon. He's going to help us make money.
Yeah, and I was on some Reddits and some different articles. I was already reading what people were saying, and yeah, you're a popular man around here.
Yeah, I still can't believe that happened. Like, I'm still in shock. As far as I'm aware, according to, I had some people look into it, and for a non-Saturday run of a GDQ, I think that run raised the most amount of money of any run.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. Because, like, I mean, Saturday you expect that big rush, because a lot of times Saturday, like, we'll hit, the million mark, and then we'll just hit 2 million the same day, too, because everyone's like, let's try and smash that goal before the event's over. But the beginning of the week's usually pretty slow.
Yeah.
So, like, we started around the 340K mark when my run started, and then at the end we were, like, mid 440s.
What a crazy back-to-back for that day, too, to go from the punch-out blindfolded Wii run right into that.
Oh, absolutely. That's the complete antithesis of each other, but that's back-to-back the 2 reasons you should watch a GDQ.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to show someone, hey, we have these top-tier, otherworldly gamers that are capable of extraordinary things, you show them Zallard's run.
Oh, man. I haven't been that excited about something in my life until now. Yeah. Just in general.
Yeah.
Hugging strangers, standing up. Just an entire audience gasping over a missed punch. It was insane. This is my first time coming to a GDQ, so it's a much different experience because I don't usually get a chance to watch it live. But, you take off work. And, yeah, I tell myself, oh, I'll just drink 7 beers and then wake up in 3 hours and go watch Katamari. That's not going to happen. And it's been an amazing experience so far, and it's very different being out on the floor, seeing the people, and also experiencing the extra rooms and the arcades and stuff like that. What are some of your favorite things that people might not get to see on screen when they're watching at home?
I mean, just a overall like interaction between everyone, because one of the biggest things about GDQ now is they are becoming a lot more mainstream. They're getting a bunch of sponsors and stuff, which for the event is really, really good. Like, that helps us cover costs and whatnot. We're able to provide the entertainment, like all the extra TVs for games, like getting World 9's help for everything, having that giant arcade, which that's kind of new. Like, we had arcades before, but like not arcades of that level. And that just kind of adds to the whole experience. And it kind of like what you just said, like this is your first time here.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that, they'll hear good or bad things before they come for the first time. And once they come, they're like, this is completely different than what I read. This is completely different than what I thought. It's something that you got to experience yourself. Like, you have to be here. It's
so much better and more wholesome and more entertaining. Everything, it's just cranked to the max when you're actually here in person. So this is your first year as a host, right? Earlier this year at AGDQ? Yep.
So AGDQ, well, actually, technically, I did a trial. I guess. They were testing me out last SGDQ. I did a couple of interviews there.
Yeah.
And they loved me so much. It was me, Kung Fu Fruit Cup, and Covert Muffin. All three of us were given tryouts, and we're all still involved in one way or another, but they liked me enough to make me the first permanent one of the three. Kung Fu's now a permanent as well, and Covert, I'm pretty sure, I mean, when you talk to him, like, he'll give you a better answer, but I'm pretty sure that he is, like, really wrapped into the hosting thing now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all three of us had a chance to do it. I got lucky enough to be selected, and God, screw Hobbs. So, okay, so
let's hear it.
He reached out to me because I was nervous about it, because I was like, I really want to do this. I want to be more involved with the event than just runs, because, like, you're not always going to be able to get a run in. It's such a difficult thing to get. But if I'm involved in the event in some way, like, I'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So he ends up reaching out to me at one point. And he's like, well, we did discuss it with everyone, and we talked about who we like and who could use some improvement here and there, yada, yada. We have notes if you want to look at them, you know, just whether you make it in or not, just so you can, like, improve yourself for the future. And so he sent me those, and he's like, but I do have some good news and bad news. Okay. I was like, all right, what's the bad news? And he's like, unfortunately, even though we tried out 3 of you, only one of you can make it. And I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, the good news for everyone except me is that person is you. I'm like, Hobbs, my heart. Why would you do that to me?
What a dick.
What a dick. We weren't on TV or anything. There was no podcast about it. It was just like a normal, like, private call. And I'm like, you had nothing to gain from that.
Yeah.
Why? You jerk.
Classic Hobbs. Pouring shots down my throat last night.
Classic Hobbs. What an animal.
What an animal.
I had to get him to bed last night.
I heard.
What an animal. He deserves a break, but man, what an animal.
Yeah, it's good when you can get a little bit of time away from your duties.
Yeah. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize too. Some people that have seen me do this for a little while, like, they're still getting used to it. Like, before I became, you know, soft staff. I mean, it's partner, but I call it soft staff. It's just easier to explain to people that way.
Sure.
Before that, if somebody was like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, do you want to do something? Hey, let's go out. It's like, oh, well, we have a party going on in room 303 or something. It's like, all right, be there in 5. But now there's just so many more responsibilities, and since the event's getting bigger, we're just getting busier and busier, even though we are hiring more and more people to help. That free time's a commodity now. Like, that's not what I'm used to at all.
Yeah. I was happy I got Spike and Hobbs on last night, because Spike said, oh, I have the next 2 days off so I can actually have a beer. Yeah.
Spike's someone I've actually hardly seen, and he's someone that I almost always hang out with.
I see him everywhere, but I also don't see him at all.
Yeah.
You see that afro.
God, there's some people here that have a really similar afro.
Yeah.
And I'm just so tempted to just, because I always, like, pinch Spike's butt. So, like,
you're going to get the wrong butt sometime.
It's like, that's hello, username 626. How are you?
We were walking outside yesterday. Some dude was running after a basketball, and I swear I saw the bottom half of his naked ass. The whole thing, like, it was shorts were all the way down to the bottom half. You got to feel the airflow at some point, you'd think, right?
That, you know, that just kind of reminds me of people who bend over and you see their butt crack.
Belts.
Yeah.
And just self-awareness, I suppose.
I still don't, like...
I know when my dick's hanging out. I'm aware, you know?
I mean, like, there's a massive difference. Like...
So what kind of preparation goes into an event like this as a host, as an interviewer then? How, like, a month in advance, are you told we need the pre-show skit? These interviews are what we'd like you to do?
So usually... and I'm pretty sure this isn't, like, secret info. If it is, then exclusive. But I'd say about, like, 2 months before the event starts is when we start doing, like, weekly meetings, and producers and interviewers, like, they're on their own different teams and whatnot. Hobbs is involved in, like, all of it.
Yeah.
But for us on the interview team, we'll usually have meetings around 7 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. And they're usually anywhere between, like, an hour to 2.5 hours, depending on what we need to discuss. So at that point in time, it's kind of, hey, we got the games list to look at. Let's look at the runners. Let's see who we think would be a good interview, whether it's because they're a fun person to talk to or because the game is interesting. We usually try to narrow it down to about, like, anywhere between 60 to 70 total interviews throughout the week.
Yeah.
And, you know, just try to have, like, no more than, like, 10 in a day. Because, like, we want to break it up and, like, have something to do while we're playing ads and setting up all the other consoles and stuff, but we don't want to oversaturate it either.
Sure.
So like we'll usually narrow it down to a list of like 80 or 90 for that first week, narrow it down another week until we get to that happy medium. And then it's actually literally kind of a free-for-all for a while. Like this last time, I think it was Spike couldn't make it to one of the meetings, and then Kung Fu was on mobile, so she couldn't access the Google Doc that we were using. And so once we finally decided, hey, these are who we want to interview, it's like, all right, put your names next to all the interviews that you want. And I had to actually like talk to Kung Fu the whole time, like, is this one what you want? So I could put her name in. So I was like doing double duty, trying to register whoever for whatever interviews.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of like doubling up on stuff like that, sometimes tripling up, and from there it's just kind of like, let's see how the schedule's distributed. Let's make sure we give each other like at least a day or two off. So like I didn't have any interviews on Monday, and I don't have any tomorrow.
It would have been nice to not have one this morning, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I just wanted to sleep, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell. Like I was in bed for 2 hours, just like closing my eyes, and like my mind was racing, and I couldn't go to sleep. So I was like, I guess I'll just get up and play in the arcade until it's my time to interview.
We're in the middle of summer. It's beautiful outside, and we're in a hotel for 6-7 days straight, sleeping at odd times, just gaming.
Yep.
It is disorienting.
We're nerds.
Oh yeah. I was trying to explain GDQ to friends that I was going there, and most of them are just baffled by the concept of a speed run, which is still bizarre to me. This culture, it's very niche, but it's very intense once you get into it.
And it's one that's growing too. Like,
absolutely.
If you look at some esports organizations, like they're actually starting to see some value in speedrunning. I am involved in an esports organization right now. Like I'm with Noble.
How long have you been with Noble?
I've been with Noble since December, and they've done nothing but treat me right. Like they have made sure they've gone above and beyond. They helped me improve like my Twitch contract. They helped me like reach some like new avenues of like advertisements and revenue and whatnot. And you know, they've hooked me up with some cool swag. Like I had the most ancient fucking keyboard, and I was like, hey, do you guys have like a keyboard and a mouse you can send me, because we have a Logitech deal? So they talked to Logitech, and you know, they sent me this really neat care package. So I have like a brand new webcam, 2 different keyboards depending on whether I wanted mechanical or not. Yeah. Like a new headset, new mouse, like all that stuff. They've done nothing but treat me well.
And they approached you?
So it was kind of 50-50. So they actually talked to TGH, who, I mean, if anybody doesn't know, he's an insane speedrunner. He's probably like the flat out #1 for Celeste. It's absolutely crazy. He's also really good at like Sonic 3D Blast. He's done Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. He's done a lot of runs here at GDQ.
Yeah.
So, like he's definitely like, I would consider him a household name for speedrunning.
Yeah.
Definitely really skilled, really, really popular runner. He talked to them, and when he got signed, I reached out to him. I'm like, oh, hey, that's really cool. Like, congratulations. He's like, yeah, like they're actually interested in like finding more people. So, you know, I can tell them that I sent you.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of it too. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, why not? That'd be really cool. And I talked to them, and within like a day or two, I'm talking to Brandon Stokes, who's the COO of Noble. And we had a really, really positive and productive conversation. And within 3 days, I was revealed as an official team member. Like we pretty much decided there and then.
Yeah. What does
after that talk.
What does that all include, being a team member as a speedrunner? Is it just slapping their logo all over your streams? Do you do specific events for them?
So as it stands right now, since we're kind of trying to like show the importance of speedrunning, and we're still trying to grow the esports scene side of speedrunning, it's pretty much like a I advertise for you, you advertise for me kind of deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my stream has like a little ticker that like shows off some of the, like, hey, if you use Stay Noble at this website, you save like 20% or something. And then, you know, I have a bot that like mentions I'm on the team every hour or so. And on their end, pretty much any time that I go live, you know, they'll tweet me out, or if I'm at a big event, or even just planning on going to an event, like they'll tweet out about that. They put forth a lot of effort to try to get me like front page on Twitch a lot too.
Okay.
So just overall, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship right now. Like I advertise them, they advertise me. And as we grow this and as it gets bigger, like hopefully we can get more out of it, and we can give them more too.
Sure.
Like they're not a new organization, but they are new to the speedrunning scene. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see speedrunning evolve more as an esport and more opportunities. I think it only makes sense to have more conventions along those lines where people can compete and have it be a little more monetarily motivated.
Yeah, I mean, I love GDQ.
It drives it's GDQ needs to stay GDQ because it's wonderful and pure and wholesome. But I don't see any reason why you guys shouldn't also make a little bit of money. It's your career.
Yeah, and that's money with speedrunning is still like a really sensitive topic. It used to be a lot worse a couple of years ago.
Sure.
I still remember a couple of years ago, for the life of me, I can't remember who made a tweet about this, but he was like, I'm offering private lessons, like paid private lessons to learn this game. It's like kind of like a more intimate way to learn it as opposed to just like the generalities that like a community will give you or just like notes or a video.
Yeah.
Like actual like one-on-one tutoring. And that tweet blew up in the worst way. People were not happy. It's like, oh, he's not even the world record holder. Why would you pay him? Blah, blah. Why pay to do that when you can learn something for free? And it's like, you could say that about anything.
It's his time.
Exactly. Like you're paying for his time. You're paying for his experience. He's providing a service. He is going out of his way to try and give you like the best learning experience that you can get.
It was just an offer.
Exactly. Like you can say no. You don't have to do it. But he was just torn apart.
It is sensitive. I've been watching GDQs for maybe 3 or 4 years now, but since I knew I was coming here, it was my first time over the last couple months doing a real deep dive into the community.
Right.
It's so much deeper than I thought. There's so many more events here and there. Speedruns.com. I was on forums. I've been trying to try to know everything before I came, and turns out it's impossible.
Yeah, there's far too much.
So you specialize in Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that goes way back to your childhood.
Pretty much, yeah. Like most any other speedrunner, it's like you usually pick up a game either because it's new and it looks cool, or it's old and you've played it a ton, so you already have like a decent amount of knowledge.
Yeah. What is some of your favorite aspects of speedrunning Pokemon games?
Even with, I mean, you could see it with my run at GDQ here, even with manipulations and stuff. Like there's still so much randomness that there is on the fly thinking. And for the longest time, we had a joke within the Pokemon community. This was a couple of years ago where it was kind of a Smash Bros. Melee reference. Like we had the 4 gods of Pokemon speedrunning, and that included people like myself, Keizaron, Gunner Maniac, and Worcester, which those are all like really big names in Pokemon speedrunning. And I made a joke tier list and a joke pros and cons of each runner. And I would say out of those 4, like I was probably the least skilled, but I had the best improv.
Yeah.
And the improv part of it is what really excites me because it's not going to be the same run every time. Even with manipulation, unless you're absolutely manipulating every last fight and every last thing about the game, you're still just giving yourself like a slight advantage to try and capitalize on everything. And that's what I really like about the nature of the game is it's so volatile and so random that you're not necessarily playing the same thing every time.
Yeah, and the series does feel largely unchanged in the main series.
Yeah.
Has there been any big missteps through the sequels as they've gotten to where they are now?
In terms of missteps, I would say, in a speedrunning perspective anyway, the newer games have way too many cutscenes.
Okay.
Like a really good example is the 7th generation of games. You got Sun and Moon and an Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. If you actually did a Sun and Moon run and a person named Wartab timed this out, it's about 45 to 47% of the speedrun right now is cutscenes.
Unskippable cutscenes.
Unskippable cutscenes. So it's a 5-hour run because of that, but it could have been a really quick 2.5-hour run if that didn't exist. And the Sun and Moon route is actually one of my favorite routes in all of Pokemon speedrunning. But I have no reason to touch that until we make like a hack that cuts out the cutscenes because I don't want to sit there and rot.
Yeah. Did you play Pokemon trading card game? Not the real one, but the Game Boy one?
I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of that because I remember when we would visit my uncle in Oregon, because I live in Washington State.
Yeah.
And whenever we'd visit my uncle in Oregon, it was about a 6-hour drive from where we were or whatever. So I'd always just have my Game Boy with my little slime light.
The slime worm light thing,
yep. Yeah, and then
terrible.
It was
ruining
terrible.
eyes.
Like, it was the worst thing ever, but like it helped me see for a little bit, kind of. And
yeah.
I was playing either trading card game or Pokemon Crystal.
Yeah. You should. Have you considered speedrunning that game, or is that one that might not be as fun to break?
I mean, people do speedrun that, and it looks like the speedrun is not like 100% optimized and done with, but it looks like it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And I usually personally don't go into games that are that tight, less because of the competition or anything like that, and less because, oh, can I get the best time in this? Yes, no, and more because I like trying to contribute more.
Yep.
So like, if you asked me this question like 2 or 3 years ago, then maybe it'd be like, oh yeah, like I want to have the best time in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as my role within speedrunning, GDQs, and just streaming in general shifts, it's like I'm more focused on getting more people in, whether it's my community or the Pokemon community, because I am an admin of that speedrunning team.
Yeah.
Like just trying to build that up. So I rather just find stuff at this point in time and have like great times, as opposed to, going into something that's already heavily optimized where there really isn't much I can contribute.
Yeah.
And then just be a grind monkey for a top time.
Do you have runs for most of the mainstream games?
Yeah, so I think the only generation that I don't have a submitted run for is the 5th one, so Black and White.
Yeah.
And then Black 2, White 2. And that's just because I never played that casually as a kid.
Yeah.
I still need to play that. But yeah, I've had... So I've done red, I've done blue, I've done yellow. I had a record in yellow at one point in time, which that was funny. That lasted for 4 hours. Like I remember,
You were the king for 4 hours.
I was the king for 4 hours, and then Poke Guy, one of the people on my couch, showed up like, after that 4 hours, and he, well earned clapback. But I just remember I popped off like crazy when I got that record, because this was about a year ago, and it was about the time where people weren't thinking I was good at games anymore. There's like, oh, he's just an entertainment value. He still can't. He can't do what he used to do.
Yeah.
So getting that time, even though it barely beat record, meant a lot to me.
You're not just a pretty face.
Yeah. No, I got some talent. I got some. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember getting that time, and I popped off, and I was like, "Who's still a god? Who's still a god?" Like just going, because we were talking about that joke tier list, and then 4 hours later, Poke Guy gets it. And he knows I'm watching him at the time. And as soon as he finishes it, like he just slams down his hand. He's like, "Who's the god now, Keys?" I'm like, "Fuck, let me have my moment in the sun." But yeah, I've had records in every generation that I've actually done a run in, except Gen 6, so X and Y.
Yeah.
And that one I don't have a good time, because the route's cool, but I don't personally like want to play the route.
And you've got a run for Pokemon Let's Go as well, right?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. That was an odd game. I wasn't sure what it was going to be when I downloaded the demo.
Oh, that game was something else. A lot of us went in with like low expectations.
Yeah.
And it just blew me away.
I remember when Pokemon Go came out, it was the biggest deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living in a smaller town in Minnesota, and you could just see herds of people running around.
Right.
It was a very big deal for a while, and then after maybe a couple months, people decided it was nerdy again. I still carry around my Pokemon in my pocket.
See, I actually went out of my way to not pick it up.
Oh, really?
Because as much as I like Pokemon, I knew that if I downloaded it, I'd always be on my phone. And I'm already on my phone a lot as is. I didn't need another excuse to be on my phone forever.
Yeah.
And I actually remember that first day it came out too, because it came out during an SGDQ. It was like SGDQ 2016 or whatever.
That must have had a big effect on the event.
Yeah, there were a lot of people on their phones. The Wi-Fi was fucking dead. You couldn't access anything. I got so many alerts, because I'm on AT&T. I got so many alerts from them like, "Hey, you're going over your data," because I had to turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Because all these sweaty-ass nerds decided, hey, Pokemon Go's out.
There's a Bulbasaur. We need him.
Yeah, and this cracks me up. I remember we were walking back from a restaurant, and I was like, all right, we're going to play a game. Anybody I see on their phone, like, we'll make a bet if they're playing Go or not.
Yeah.
And I was 10 for 10, including one guy in like the fanciest business suit, and he has his briefcase open. I shit you not. Like, he's holding his briefcase like this, and he's just like he's ashamed that he's playing Pokemon or something. He's like a 40-something-year-old guy who's supposed to be making millions of dollars or something. He's just like, yeah, I'm playing this. We walk by him, I look, I'm like, he just caught a fucking Squirtle.
He caught a Squirtle.
Like, are you kidding me?
You got to own up to your hobbies.
I mean, what did he have to hide? If he was making like billions of dollars, who gives a shit if he's playing Pokemon?
Dude, you already
he could have been on Pornhub. Like, who cares?
You got the money. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's why Pokemon Let's Go, it was odd. I was so turned off because it was going to be based on Pokemon Go. Mm-hmm. But then you realize it's also almost a one-to-one kind of remake of the Gen 1 game. And then I got really excited, but I hated the throwing the Pokeball mechanic.
Yeah.
Just give me the classic battles.
Right.
Right. You were so close to making a game that would have been a killer app. It's still good. It's still good.
Oh, I definitely enjoyed it. Like, there are some aspects that I don't like for sure, but I was pleasantly surprised. And for speedrunning, I think it was actually like the breath of fresh air that the Pokemon community needed, because one, accessibility. So with a lot of the Pokemon games, you know, from Gen 4 to Gen 7, you know, they're on DS or 3DS, and there are no companies left that I'm aware of that can help with capture cards. Like, the two biggest ones were Loopy, who is on and off online dead all the time, and then Katsu Kitty, which changed to Kitty, which changed to bankrupt.
Okay.
So there's like no way to actually get a capture card now. So as a side note, as an admin, I got to figure out what the hell to do about that.
Yeah.
We don't have accurate emulators for that. So how do you promote competition other than somebody just pointing a webcam at their console? But no, there's an accessibility issue with those games, and with Let's Go coming out, it's a lot easier to get a capture card for just an HDMI.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people got into it. There's a lot more community involvement. The route has changed a ton, and there's been a ton of feedback and you know, advice and stuff on how to improve the route, something that hasn't happened in a while. So like, Let's Go for speedrunning has been absolutely powerful, and I've been pleased with it. And just in general, personally, it was a nice change of pace. Like, it was interesting to incorporate the gotta catch 'em all mechanic, because, you know, it's required to access one of the gyms. So you have to actually route out catching, which is something that you don't usually see anymore. Like, you go out of your way to capture, like, you know, 1 or 2 HM slaves.
Yeah.
As opposed to Let's Go. Where
HM
like,
friends, right?
HM friends.
Yeah.
A term that I should absolutely adopt more.
They're slaves.
They're slaves.
Yeah. What do you think of Detective Pikachu?
It was cute. I actually enjoyed it.
It was very cute.
Like, it was kind of corny. I mean, obviously, you don't make a movie like that and expect it to not be corny.
Yeah.
But, and I love Ryan Reynolds, don't get me wrong, but that still kind of threw me off. Like, Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I guess like that's a casting choice, but I enjoyed it overall.
I thought they delicately handled all the different Pokemon you were like seeing, all their personalities, the way they interacted in the backgrounds.
Right.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably the best video game movie ever made. But I came out just really happy. I wasn't like, this is the fucking best movie. And I realized very early on, well, Pikachu's his dad. I saw that mystery.
Yeah, I mean, that one seemed really obvious to me.
Spoiler
right off the
warning.
bat. And oops, yeah.
Does it?
Don't. Hey. But no, like, I wanted to watch the movie, but I just didn't really have the time to check it out. And then my girlfriend's like, hey, I really want to watch it. And I'm like, all right, there's my excuse. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll take a night off of streaming. Let's have a date night.
Yeah.
So we did the whole, like, you know, standard dinner and a movie thing. Went to Red Robin. I love Red Robin.
Hashtag Red Robin. Go there.
Red Robin, sponsor me. I used to work for you. Sponsor me. But and then you know, we went to the movie, and I'll admit I was super tired. So the first 5 minutes, I actually like nodded off without realizing it.
Yeah. And then
I woke
Lickitung
up.
is in the train when he licks the face. That was the first moment I really got excited.
Yeah, like there's a lot to love about that movie. Like, there's stuff that could have been done a little better, but like, I mean, it wasn't designed for us. So the fact that we could get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I was the 30-year-old that went during the day, and some asshole brought their kids to watch the Pokemon movie. They're making noise. How dare they? I am a 30-year-old man trying to enjoy Pikachu.
I was a 28-year-old man who was smart enough to go 2 weeks after it came out, so I didn't have to worry about a crowd.
Yeah, I try and just go like during the day, during a weekday, and then there's always just one kid instead of 30 kids, which is almost worse.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So what other Pokemon do you think deserves a sequel? Constable Squirtle, Lawyer Charizard?
Lawyer Charizard. Make that like Legally Blonde, except with a Charizard. Like, that'd be silly.
Well, 1-to-1 remake of Legally Blonde with
1-to-1
Charizard.
remake, just like CGI the Charizard in there.
Yeah. What
my goodness.
what Pokemon you think should get their own movie?
I mean, logically speaking, if you're going off of like game series or whatever, I mean, Eevee seems like a really obvious choice here.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways you can approach that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can, I mean, one, you could capitalize on the whole Let's Go thing.
Yeah.
And then two, it's like, you can go multiple, like, you could go comedy, you could go drama, you could go with a bunch of stuff. Like, you can make it like it's Eevee's coming of age. Like, which evolution is Eevee going to choose? Or is Eevee going to be its own person and stay Eevee forever? Like, there's a lot that you could actually do with that.
I just got emotional feels run through my body
Like,
at that one.
That's the logical step to me.
You can contact us if you want to make the movie.
Yeah,
we have the rights to that one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's,
you could have a
twitch.tv/Keizaron and then twitter.com/Keizaron. Hey, my DMs are open.
You could even have a Darren Aronofsky experimental film with Ditto and just get fucking weird with it.
Jesus Christ. The Ditto freaked me out.
Yeah.
Detective Pikachu.
What is your fate? Yeah, that was messed up. Yeah.
Like the fact that he could turn to humans. Which, I mean, I guess, like, if you think about it, like, that should have been obvious that he could. But Christ.
Yeah, it was Where was I going? I had some Pokemon conspiracy theories. There's some good ones. I've gone down that hole a few times on the internet.
Same.
What's some of your favorite weird Pokemon ramblings, thoughts that people have had?
I really like the whole Clefable and Gengar are related thing. Because, like, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Like, you know, Normal and Ghost can't affect each other. Gengar kind of looks like the shadow of Clefable. Like, I really like that. One that I'm really tired of reading about, and I think this is, like, the most common one, is the whole you kill Blue's Raticate. Like, you fight his Raticate on the boat, and it's so injured that like, he can't get it to the Pokemon Center in time, and it dies, and that's why he's at Lavender Tower when you go there.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, I think that one's kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, this is where I go on, like, my nerdy Pokemon rant here, but if you look at the character of Blue, he doesn't give a shit about his Pokemon.
No.
So, like, if Raticate sucks and it's losing and he found something better, he's not going to keep it. I don't think his Raticate's dead.
Raticate's not the coolest looking Pokemon.
No, I mean, it's a
very
rat with big teeth.
Kind of ugly.
Yeah, it's not what you put, like, in your locker in middle school. Like, you don't put, like, the Raticate stickers.
The Raticate poster up in your locker.
Just a giant Raticate poster, and every time you're on, like, your off period, just like,
oh, Raticate.
my precious.
There's definitely one major Raticate fan who's listening right now and is disappointed in us.
I mean, there is a big Mad Cargo fan in my run that is mad at me that I said nobody likes Mad Cargo. So, you know, I mean, if we're pissing off another fan, then so be it.
There'll eventually be so many Pokemon, there's one that no one will like.
I mean, there's so many Pokemon right now that the new game can't incorporate them all.
I bet it could.
I mean, I'm sure they could, like, if they did DLC.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're talking about...
And that's smart. Just save it for DLC, make us pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's room for it, and we would want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, people will, and it's like... There's so much outrage with that, and I'm just kind of sitting here like, well, they're going to have over 1,000 Pokemon now. We knew that at one point in time it would not be sustainable to, like, get it all done with how, you know, Japanese video game companies have those deadlines and they have to rush games out.
Yeah.
So there's, like, you know, whatever excuses people have come up with for, like, oh, they could have done it this way, they could have done it that way. I mean, unless you're actually working in the industry and know how it works.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going to be the person that... I'll be disappointed. But I'm not going to be like, I'm boycotting this company and I'm not giving them my money because blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. No.
I love complaining from my chair and not knowing how things work.
And just armchair quarterback everything.
This is not right. I'm going to tweet at you about it.
I shall twirl my mustache while visibly angrily.
I stroke the beard when I'm mad.
Yeah, I'm half Filipino, so the fact that I have this is amazing.
Very impressive.
If I went to the Philippines, I'd probably be like a bearded god.
You are still a Pokemon god, though.
Used to be.
Used to be. You'll get back up there.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try.
Get that 64 one where you talk to Pikachu. Do a speedrun of that. So apart from speedrunning and being an admin and being a host and all these things, you're also a frontman for a band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. What's going on with the band right now? What is it? Time is... Lost in Time.
Lost in Time.
Yes.
Yeah, you did your research. So Lost in Time's kind of just like... It's basically my baby of musical ideas. It's a band that's existed under 3 different names so far. And so, you know, obviously we haven't, like, made it big or anything like that. I don't really have any aspiration to make it big either. I just like writing music.
Sure.
And I like having a group of people that are willing to share that passion and, you know, share the music. The musical ideas have been around since I was in fucking middle school. So, you know, like 12, 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they've just been around forever. And I've actually had the same guitarist forever. He's actually one of my close friend's brothers. I just remember one summer I was visiting, this is after my parents ended up getting divorced. I visit my friend, and he was playing a game I was bored with, so I went to his brother's room because I heard him playing guitar, and we wrote a song right there and then, completely unplanned.
Yeah.
But we were like, hey, like we actually have like a rapport when it comes to writing music. So, you know, maybe if I ever move back, which I eventually did, like we can get together and try to do something. And what's funny was his brother's a lot younger than me. So when I did eventually move back to Washington, he did want to write music with me, but he was still a senior in high school. So I remember actually going to his high school for a talent show and drumming for him.
Yeah.
Because he had some other people and he had a singer and everything. And I'm really like multi-talented when it comes to instruments and stuff.
Sure.
We had a joke when I was in high school where if you locked me in a closet with 3 instruments for a half hour, I'd come out knowing at least 2 of them well.
Yeah.
It's like I just always had a penchant for music. So, you know, I just pretty much filled whatever role he wanted me to because I just wanted to play. And then eventually we were like, hey, let's try to get a group together.
Yeah.
So we made these awful, shitty demos.
No one's first demos are,
Oh, no.
we did it. We got it right.
Like,
Print it.
it was like so bad. And we went on Craigslist and we found someone stupid enough. Sorry, Chip, but we found someone stupid enough to be like, hey, I like this. I want to be your drummer. And like, it's always been us 3 ever since then. We've kind of rotated. I used to be the bassist, and we had a different vocalist, but I write all the lyrics and I write most of the songs. I'm the most familiar with the songs for sure.
Yeah.
Because if I don't write everything out, then Sean writes an idea. Sean being the guitarist, he'll write an idea out, and
Yeah.
I'll work around it, and I'll tab out everything on Guitar Pro, which I love Guitar Pro. What a fantastic program for writing music.
Okay.
And the thing that I found was we had people try to be vocalists, and they couldn't really like convey the right feeling or emotion from the lyrics because they didn't write it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Sure.
some time passes, I move a couple of times. Everyone moved a couple of times at one point in time. And then just like a year and a half ago, we all ended up back in Spokane. And we're like, you want to try the band thing again? Like, no really aspiration to do anything huge. Just like play locally, have fun, you know, get some drinks every now and again. And so we found a bassist and put me on vocals instead. And that's been a much more positive thing.
Yeah.
We do have an EP, which I'll plug that in right now. SoundCloud.com/official Lost in Time, if I can learn how to say that right. We have 5 songs up there.
Yep.
And the fun thing about that EP for me was we actually recorded that before everyone got back together. So other than the lead guitar parts, I did everything. Like we were in a professional studio and everything. It was the time of my life. I miss being in the studio.
Yeah.
But like, it was 4 days of me tracking bass, tracking drums, doing all sorts of vocal layers, so on and so forth. It was just an absolute blast. And we've done a few shows the past 6 months, which is, you know, a step in the right direction. We've done about 4 shows, and most of them have been like positively received. The biggest critiques come from me because I'm just, you know, it's the stuff that I wrote. So it's like, I know what's not going to sound right, what's not going to sound wrong.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I edit the podcast, and I'm just always, oh, Brad, you're so dumb. I hate listening to myself. I've gotten better. It's hard to be objective when it's your own material.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. Like, we actually had a show, because like I said, we're based in Spokane, Washington, which is the eastern side of the state. And we had a show out in Vancouver, which I have to explain all the time. Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver, Canada. But Vancouver, Washington, like right next to Portland.
Austin,
like
Massachusetts.
Yeah. It's still in Washington, but it's like a kitty corner from Portland.
Okay.
It's right there. And we had a show out there in May, which honestly the show went fine, but because we traveled far for it, like I wanted a much tighter show, like something that was much more perfected.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that. We still got like a ton of compliments and whatnot, but like just the whole night I was like sulking. So I was like, I messed this up, he messed this up, he also messed this up, this could have been better, this could have been like way better, et cetera, et cetera. So like in terms of just self-critique, like that's a big weakness for me.
It's good to be self-critical, though. Otherwise, you become complacent. And,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm purely all ego-driven because everyone says I have a cute beard. I'm like, well, that's it. I'm the man.
And I stream on Twitch for a living, and that's because my ego is through the roof. And people feed into that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll always just joke, like, I'm a god gamer, give me money. And all of a sudden, there's money.
When people do give me a compliment for anything, it's like, please don't. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I got a problem with myself right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back and watch the Pokemon run that I just did, you can hear the couch just like, don't feed his ego. And I'm just like, no, please keep it up. I'm gonna have a ton of fun with this one.
So does the band have any shows coming up or anything you want to hype right now?
No, not really. So we're kind of doing a self-produced album. We want an actual like full-length album to give out to people, because I mean, what's the point in having merch and whatnot if you don't have a CD to come with it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can sell shirts all you want, but I mean, who's honestly going to buy a shirt if they can't get the music too?
Yeah, it's incredibly rare that I bought a shirt at a show that I went to. If it was a band I wasn't familiar with beforehand.
Yeah, like
occasionally I buy the CD. Like, yeah, you want to buy the music.
Yeah, the
CD
CD's gonna be like the most popular thing for sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work on that. We're kind of on a soft hiatus. Like, we're only really on a break because I'm busy all summer, and the drummer is gonna be out of state for, I want to say, like 3 weeks or something. So like, it's just a good time for everyone to just take a break, recharge, and then we'll just go back into it with fresh ideas and record everything and go back to local shows. I did tell them that if they want me to like still be interested, then let's try to have a show ready by like September or October. That way we have something to work towards when everybody's free again.
Do a show at one of the games done quick.
I would absolutely love to do that. Like, even if it's just like make really cheesy covers of like video game music, that'd be interesting.
If you had a Pokemon song, like an original one, that'd be great. Everyone would be all over that.
God, if I made a Pokemon song, I would just be rubbing my ego over and over.
And everyone would love to support that.
You fools.
On a serious note, you recently, last night we were hanging out and you made some jokes about your testicle, your one testicle. And then this morning we were talking about, well, what are we going to talk about? And you said, we'll talk about my testicle. And so then I looked up. I didn't look about your testicle, but I found out about it. Yeah, you recently went through a bout with testicular cancer.
Yeah, so to back up a tiny bit here, I usually make the joke about that because anybody who hangs out with me finds out from someone else anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you dollars to donuts that Hobbs was going to bring it up at one point in time. Mm-hmm. Just like as a joke. Because, like, I mean...
He brought up my testicles. I don't know why.
I mean, balls are a popular topic, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the testicular cancer thing, that was a hell of a thing. So that happened last year. I just remember I had like the shittiest beginning of 2018 ever.
Yeah.
Came back from AGDQ, had the flu, which I didn't even get from the event. I got it from some lady who decided she was going to cough on me instead of her husband or her hands, who was clearly sick on the plane. And I got it from her.
Yeah.
So I had the flu for like 2 weeks, which I'd never had the flu before. Didn't realize how crappy it was.
Yeah. Like,
flu shots meant nothing that year. And then as soon as I got over that, it was like a month of stomach issues where like every time I ate something, I wouldn't throw it up, but I just wanted to gag. It didn't matter what it was. It could have been a greasy burger. It could have been something simple. It's like a piece of bread.
Yeah.
It could have even just been a glass of water. Like, I just felt like gagging a lot. All of that was completely unrelated, but it's like, I was like, okay, it can't get any worse now, right? And then I'm kind of fuzzy on the dates because I have like a terrible, terrible memory when it comes to stuff like that. But it was like late February, early March, something like that. I just remember being in the shower and doing a self-check, which I picked up the self-check habit from, going to GDQs, and because AGDQ focuses on Prevent Cancer Foundation.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to...
Props to GDQ, though, if they're, if they helped you find it.
Yeah, like they're
I do it because of the Tom Green song where he talks... Tom Green has the Bum Bum song where he talks about getting a disease, and then he feels your ball. Like, he hyped it up, so I picked it up from there. It's not something that everyone feels comfortable talking about, but yes.
Yeah.
Feel your balls when you're in the shower.
No, absolutely. Like, just straight up, not even a joke. Just do that, because that's what helped me. But yeah, like, because, they were supporting Prevent Cancer Foundation, I always do my due diligence. Like, I don't want to support a charity or an event that I don't believe in. And, I'll look at both all the like bad press and the good press and stuff and kind of weigh it in my head. It's like, okay, is this something that I believe in? Is this something that I want to support? And so, because of that, like, I checked out a bunch of stuff that PCF had mentioned. And, they mentioned like, oh yeah, if you're a guy, check your balls in the shower every 2 to 3 weeks or something like that. I can't remember the specific time frame, but like, just check anyway. Like, you're going to be in there, you're washing yourself, you might as well cop a feel real quick.
Yeah.
And so I did a self-check one morning, and I was like, what the hell? Like, my right testicle is like super duper firm.
Yeah.
Because like, you're supposed to have like a little bit of give there. Like, it's not comfortable, but you're supposed to have a little bit of give there. It had nothing. And I'm like, okay. So I set up an appointment, because this happened on a Friday, I think. So my appointment was on a Monday.
Sure.
over that weekend, it grew in size, and I was really confused. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And we go there to the appointment, and I don't know why I said we, but so I go to the appointment, and you were a part of this.
You and your ball.
Yeah, me and my ball. Let's call him Joey. So me and Joey go to the appointment, and they're like, it could be one of two things. It could just be like a weird infection, which we'll give you some antibiotics for, or it could be testicular cancer, which we think is less likely but still possible. I was like, okay, well, I heard cancer, so all of a sudden, like, it went from the room was really wide open to, okay, this is my vision now. That's not cool.
Right.
At the time, I was 27. I'm like, I don't want to have cancer at 27. That sucks.
Yeah.
So I take the antibiotics for a few days. It made no difference. In fact, it was growing bigger and bigger, and I was getting in more and more pain to the point where if I wanted to go to Walmart to like get groceries or something, or just like buy deodorant, I had to actually use the carts because it physically hurt to walk.
Yeah.
It's like every step was like a vibration, and by the time all this was said and done, before the removal and whatnot, and before the diagnosis and everything, my testicle was actually the size of a kiwi. It came in at like 2.3 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was a heavy boy.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey grew. Joey went through puberty. Boy howdy. But, yeah, so like eventually boy howdy. So eventually I go back to the doctor, and I'm like, no offense to the doctor, but I want a second opinion.
Sure. No, that's what you do.
So I had another doctor, and she came up and she took a look, and she's like, we're gonna actually send you in for an ultrasound. Like, we're gonna send you across town, and you have to rush there because the only opening they have today is in 30 minutes. And I'm like, but it takes 35 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And my mom was driving me at the time because it hurt too much for me to just sit down and drive. So I told my mom that, and bless her, I've never seen her drive so fast in my life. I'm surprised we didn't get pulled over.
Yeah.
No offense, Mom, but you suck at driving. You fit the Asian woman stereotype of driving. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so she rushed me there, and we go in, and that experience wasn't fun, like at all. Like there's nothing like getting like cold gel slapped on your ball. It was not a fun experience.
I was married once.
Okay, fair enough. So you kind of get it. But yeah, so we had that done, and then within 10 minutes of me leaving after that scan, they call me and like, you did test positive for cancer.
Yeah.
So from there, I was like, okay, what do I do from here? So I had to go to a urologist to plan out surgery and whatnot, which luckily, like, everything lined up to where everything was done within a few days.
Yeah.
So I go to that urologist on a Thursday, and they're like, we'll schedule for surgery on Monday. Like, okay, so I only have a weekend to suffer. That's great. The less chance of it spreading, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And like even now, like I'm supposed to go to an oncologist for the next 3.5 years or something. I can't officially say that I'm cancer free, but like I'm basically cancer free.
Good.
Like, I mean, there's nothing that's like affecting me. Immune system's fine, so on and so forth. But yeah, going back to that surgery, that was scary because I'd never had a major surgery before.
Yeah.
Like, the closest thing I had to a major surgery was getting my wisdom teeth removed.
Much different than Joey.
Much different than Joey. Never even got to see these. I got to see Joey in kind. But I just remember passing out after they, give me some medication, like when I go there for the surgery.
Sure.
And just waking up. And the first memory I have of waking up was the nurse next to me like, are you doing okay? Like, on a scale of like 1 to 10, what's your pain? I'm like, 8, help me so much. Like, because they had to do an incision like right below my belly button.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically claw machine the ball out because apparently, like, in terms of like recovery, it makes more sense to do that than like actually cut at the sac, because if you cut at the sac, then it can get sweaty and infected and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you cut it up here,
very
it's a lot
sweaty.
easier to the curse of balls. Well, like if you cut like where they cut, then they claw machine it out, they stitch you up, and you can cover that up and not have to worry about infection as much.
What advice would you have to give any young person that would get diagnosed with something like that? Is there any words of wisdom from the experience that you would have to impart?
I mean, first and foremost, I'd definitely say, like, don't be shy about checking. Like, I mean, we're all guys. We make jokes about stuff like that all the time. But like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with checking yourself out. Like, if I didn't do that, then I'd be in a much worse position. It could have spread. It could have been more than just my ball. It could have turned into like stomach or liver cancer. Like it could have spread all over the place.
Yeah.
So definitely don't feel ashamed of checking. There's absolutely nothing. Plus, you're in your shower anyway. Like, who cares what you're doing in there? But like, if you're in a situation where you do get diagnosed, know that in a case like this, the survival rate is around 98%. So you're very likely to make it through. And it's usually like something you can catch really early and take care of really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The health insurance providing, of course. But
God bless America.
Healthcare. That's another podcast.
So yeah, I have a healthcare podcast. It's doing terribly. I have one other segment I want to get to, but before we get there, where can our guests find you? Plug all of your things right now.
Right. So I am a Twitch streamer. You can find me at twitch.tv/Keizaron. That's Keizaron. I know that the name looks kind of funny, and a lot of people like to say it's Keizaron. I promise it's not. I made up the name. You can also find me at Twitter at the same thing, at Keizaron. I do have an Instagram that I hardly ever use, but you can do that anyway. Apparently, I got like 50 new followers from that after my run. I don't know how they found it.
Yeah.
Just at Keizaron again. In terms of music, I mentioned it. You could go to soundcloud.com/official Lost in Time. There's some really sick stuff there. I really enjoy how it came out with. That was a terrible sentence. You can also check out all the events that I've been a part of. I've been a part of Games Done Quick, so you can check that out at gamesdonequick.com. There's also RPG Limit Break, which is something that focuses on NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illnesses. That's something that means a lot to me. And then I think that's about it, really. You could go to memebig.net. Just go there. I promise that it's not a virus.
Okay, go there, everyone.
Go there.
You can find us at Hot Dogcast on Twitter. We're Hair the Dogcast on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. I'm personally Loaf of White Brad. I'm mostly on Instagram. I do have over 10 Twitter followers, though.
Nice.
The saddest update I've had on my phone was, congratulations, you have 10 Twitter followers. Celebrate with a tweet.
Hooray, 10.
It's like a Black Mirror episode. Yeah. So follow the podcast. Follow this guy. Listen to his music. And I'm just going to ask you some rapid-fire questions real quick. Don't have to be thoughtful, long answers or anything.
Okay.
All right. Favorite Keanu Reeves film?
Oh, God. This is going to be like the most unpopular choice ever, but I actually liked him in Matrix 2.
Matrix 2 is great. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite RPG outside of Pokemon?
Legend of Dragoon on the PlayStation 1.
Ooh, deep cut. Favorite style of beer?
Stouts. Just love stouts.
Best Pokemon game?
Heart Gold.
Worst Pokemon game?
Anything that's a mystery dungeon. Sorry, Halkery.
Sorry, Halkery. The lamest Pokemon?
Oh, God. Most of them. I don't even have a solid answer for that one. Just most of them. Skiploom. I hate Skiploom.
Fuck you, Skiploom.
Fuck you, Skiploom.
Coolest Pokemon?
I really like Weavile a lot.
Weavile.
Weavile's dope.
Most overrated Pokemon?
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
And that one's an easy answer. Like, look at how oversaturated the market is with him.
Yeah,
Screw that.
Sit down, Pikachu.
Yeah, I know you just had a movie and a game, but you're done.
It's time for Chansey to shine.
Yeah.
And the last one, Pokemon you would most like to party with?
Dude, I feel like Alakazam would be dope.
Oh, man.
Like, he can make all the drinks levitate and stuff. You can look at this alcohol floating, open your mouth. Blah.
What's his IQ? Isn't it? It's crazy high.
1 billion.
Yeah. I love it when people break down how the physiology of certain Pokemon actually exist.
Yeah.
Just breaks the universe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, excited. I'll see you at the next GDQ. We're going to go drink a bunch of beers. And
heck yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Cheers. High five. New podcasting.